Hi everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loads 15, where I'll just be giving you 3 of my best bets for tomorrow's horse racing action, where we're going to have 2 selections from Southwell and the other one will come in the evening racing at Ayr. Now before I get into those selections, quickly just do our usual recap on how our tips have run today. Now at the current time of recording, I'm just doing this after 4:30. We've still got one tip to run tonight, which goes in the final race at Killarney, so obviously we don't know how that's done yet. Fingers crossed we can get a good run for our money there and the horse can run a nice race. But yeah, before recording this video, 2 of our tips have run today, and the first one of those was our nap Ayr in the 1:15. We put up Highly Dancer as my nap. Very disappointing in the end. Actually went off favourite 15-8, so it did hold its place in the market. It didn't really drift out at all. But yeah, it just was really well beaten and really disappointing. I don't know if anything came to light afterwards, if maybe the horse had bled or had a valid excuse, but yeah, it was very disappointing, and in the end just could never get involved. But then our next best has given us some redemption for today, which ran in the 4:10 at Windsor. We put up Involved for Ryan Moore and George Bay. George Bay going great guns at the moment. He's only been going just over a year, I think, now as a trainer, and he's done really well with the horses he's got in his yard. And this horse has been probably his stable star this season. That's 2 wins now, I believe, for Involved. And it was quite a comfortable success and a good ride from Ryan Moore. Got him into a good position and then asked him for his effort, and then was just too game for the rest of the field, and it was a nice performance. But yeah, that's how our selections have run so far today, and fingers crossed Happy Company in the last race at Killarney can give us some each way profit at least in that race. So yeah, that's how our selections gotten today, and we'll get into the 3 tips for tomorrow. Again, I thought tomorrow was quite a hard day actually. There's a lot of competitive racing, a lot of weak racing as well. It's quite a bit of a mess, I thought, and I didn't really fancy too much, but I'll do my best, and fingers crossed hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Now we're going to start off with my nap, which runs in the 2:55 at Southwell. I'm going to go with Rhythm is a Dancer here for Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls. Not the most original selection, I know, but I thought this horse had solid claims. Currently come back at 9-4 at the best price at the time of recording. And this horse ran, I thought, a really credible race to finish 3rd at Southwell last time out in what was a really warm race. This race is slightly weaker tomorrow, and in that race last time at Southwell, it was won by a horse called Hunter's Call. Now that horse, Hunter's Call, hadn't been seen for nearly 3 years, I think, and he won a listed hurdle at Ascot on his last start for Ollie Murphy, and it was a good training performance. But there were some other nice horses in there, like Byron's Choice, who we put up. There's some other nice horses too from some powerful yards, and it was a warm race for the grade. And Rhythm is a Dancer. He's still quite young in his career. He's only 7 years old. I think he's still got a lot more to come. He's only ever tried 3 miles a couple of times and has failed to get it, but they were in a lot more warmer races, and this race tomorrow I think is quite a weak affair. And I like the way that he did battle on last time out, which suggested that maybe stepping up in trip wouldn't be a bad option, but he always will probably have to have his optimum ground to achieve that potential, and that's good ground, and it's currently good at Southwell tomorrow. Not forecast any rain, so it should be absolutely no problem for him. And if you look at more through his form, actually when he tried those attempts of 3 miles, the best run probably came when he finished in 4th place at Ayr in a really warm race behind Harriet Graham's I Right, and there were some other nice horses that day in that race. And he's always been a horse that's shown that he's got quite a bit of ability, and maybe just now campaigning him in the summer might just see him in a better light. Paul Nicholls as well has done quite well since racing has resumed. He's operating at a 24% strike rate. He's had a few winners here and there, and Harry Cobden has been riding all right as well, been riding some of those winners for him. I think this horse has got a good chance tomorrow, and that's why I'm going to be putting it up as my nap, and fingers crossed he can do the business for us. We then go in the 5:05 at Southwell, and this is going to be my next best. I'm going to go with Jetstream here, currently 13-2 at the time of recording. Going to recommend an each way selection here for Keelan Woods and DJ Jeffries. Now DJ Jeffries, quite a new trainer on the block. He's started to come being up and coming in the last year or so. I've really started to take note of his horses. I remember he had a win, I think it was at Cheltenham last year, with a horse called Zara's Hope. I think that's the name of the horse, but he's had quite a few of Kerry Lee's horses and done all right with them. And this horse, Jetstream, is one of those horses that has been a horse that's been between the flat and the jumps, and last time it did have a flat run at Catterick when it finished in 5th place. That was probably a prep run for a summer jumps campaign, and I thought it ran all right considering it was its first run back, and it was probably only, like I said, just a warm-up race for it. Quite an exposed, this horse, as well in the jumps sphere. Only had a couple of handicap starts, in fact 2 handicap starts, and its first handicap debut it finished 3rd, a close-up 3rd off a mark of 89 at Utoxeter, and it's going to be running off the same mark of 89 tomorrow, and I think that mark's fair, and I think good ground is the key to this horse as well. And again, this is a really weak race tomorrow. A lot of horses lacking a recent run, don't really look like they've shown too much, and I think Jetstream, he's still only 5 years old and there's a lot more to come. And Keelan Woods as well has been riding on a crest of wave at the moment. He's got 5 winners from his last 13 rides, so he's going really well, and I think this horse still has a bit of potential in a race like this where it's so weak. He could maybe get on a roll and maybe improve 10 pounds or something over the summer. You know, he might have a bit more scope off his mark of 89. So for me, Jetstream, currently 13-2 at the time of recording. Going to recommend an each way bet tomorrow, and fingers crossed that horse can get the job done for us. We then go with our last tip, which runs in the 550 Ayr. Going with my long shot here, going with Tommy G, an older boy now, for Kevin Stott and Jim Goldie. Now this horse, we often see him do quite well at Ayr. He's a 4-time course winner, and we always see him run well at Goodwood, normally in the consolation race for the Stewards Cup. But I believe he won it a couple of years ago, and I think he finished 3rd in the race last year. So he's probably going to have another shot at that, but he's going to need to win a race now, because he's now down to a mark of 71, and he hasn't been this lowly rated for a couple of years. And the last time he was anywhere near this rating was off a mark of 70, and he actually went and won at Ayr. So that's a good omen, hopefully. Now, he's already had a comeback run where he finished 9th at Hamilton over 5 furlongs, but that was definitely too sharp for him. He wants it's further up in trip. He's not a 5 furlong horse. He's a 6-7 furlong specialist. And I just think tomorrow, returning to a track that he's done so well at in the past, and the dry conditions, there shouldn't be too much rain at Ayr by the time they're racing tomorrow. There might be the odd shower, but it's riding on the quick side of good. It's currently good firm, I believe, today, so it's not going to change too dramatically. And I just think this horse, the race could set up for him tomorrow. There's quite a few pace makers in the race. A lot of horses that like to get on with things, and it could just set it up for a closer like Tommy G. And with him now down to a nice mark of 71, and also as well his good, excellent course record, I just think the race could play into his hands. And he's currently 11-1, which I thought was a massive price. And if you can still get a double figure price, I think he's worth a small each way punt. So that's going to be my long shot for tomorrow, and hopefully Tommy G can roll back the years and get another course win at Ayr. So they're my 3 best bets for tomorrow. Just quickly recap. In the 225 at Southwell, we go with Rhythm is a Dancer. We then go in the 505 at Southwell, Jetstream, and then in the 530 at Ayr, we go with Tommy G. So they're the 3 best bets for tomorrow's race in action. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaders15. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15, and you can check out my website as well, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So that's what I've got to say on that score. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.